first of all, thank you, Dr. Givens, for actually getting into this. It's fun. Great team building exercise. I have two stories. I have a good one, a somewhat good one, and then it was a good one, and then a somewhat not so good. So obviously I played sports growing up, and in high school, my senior year, I played baseball. And we had a coach that used to tell us that if you're the best at your position, you're going to play. And right before our season started, you know how you can kind of sense that maybe you're not going to play. And when you know you're the best first baseman on the team, that at the time when I was playing, I met him on the pitcher's mound and I asked him, who's the best first baseman on the team? And he said, you are. And so we had a lot of politics, and I didn't quite have the name, I guess you would say, to counter the politics. But we had a contract that we had to sign. We had to wear our hair short. You had to shave. You couldn't be out after midnight. You had all these different rules. And right before our first home tournament, which we kind of kicked the season off with, one of the guys that was going to play in front of me, I was basically like your casualty, I guess you would say. And he was going to play in front of me and got in trouble or whatever, and so I was going to play. And at one point we had an all-senior starting team, and I'll never forget it because when I played that day, because you know he had got in trouble, broke the contract, and bases were loaded when I got up, and I hit a grand slam. And I remember running around the bases, and when I got to third base, I did two things. If you've ever been in a moment where, I know Justin can speak to, the adrenaline's flowing, your mind kind of is not thinking clearly, and mine was never more clear in my life. And so there's two things I did when I rounded third base. I looked at him and I said, who's the best first baseman on the team? And the other is I gave an I love you signal to the woman that I'm married to today, but she was sitting on the front row. My mind was never more clear at that moment, rounding those bases. And what I learned through that is that I knew I had all this pressure on me to basically go hit a grand slam. The very next week we were in Lufkin, I hit another grand slam. And I knew that if I didn't keep doing that I was going to get yanked. So I put the pressure on him to keep me playing because he would look like an idiot if he didn't, right? And unfortunately, I couldn't maintain it, for maybe 2 games, I think it was. And so I got yanked. I knew that was going to happen. And I left the team. But before I left the team, we played a team called Carthage. They were in the top in the state. They were in the top, I think they were in the top 5, maybe 10 in the state. And like I said, we had an all-senior starting team. And we beat them 1-0, and I'll never forget it. And we probably weren't the most talented team, but we were a unit. We were a group of seniors that had been together since we were in kindergarten, and we had that it factor that we just knew how to win. But we had a coach that kept tweaking that and wanting to mess with it, and put certain younger players in that had different names and all this other stuff. And so there's constant battle from our team and him of trying to get that chemistry out there. And the day that I decided to walk away from the team, I was doing it to make a stance. I wanted to make a stance against him, what he was doing to our team, what he was doing to the youth, because what he said was, if you're the best at your position, you're going to play, and he went against that. And I want to be a leader that when I say we're going to do something, we're going to do it. And that day that I left, they played that Carthage team again, and they got beat. They got 10-run rule. If y'all don't know what that means, they got their butts handed to them pretty bad. And it wasn't because of my talent that I wasn't there. I let that team down that day. I can name them right now: Brent Lowry, James Cheek, Corey Price, Robin Dobbs, Michael Clark, Corey Kirby, Denton Aguam. I've never named that team until just this moment, since the day I walked off that field. And that's how big of an impact it made to me that I regret and I live with every day, that these guys probably don't even remember that happening. But it changed my life forever because I let them down. And so everything I've done since then is to try to lead a team and build a team, support the team the best I can, and make sure that you guys know that you're supported. So it was a life-changing experience for me, not necessarily in a good way, but I did learn from it. The year before that, I was on that same baseball team, and I was playing on JV, and the guy I was playing behind actually made Major League Baseball that played first base. So I was playing JV, and I'm very passionate, hence why I'm here, acting like a fool of thinking I can throw 50 yards. I never played football, by the way. But anyways, I had a coach. His name was Coach Jerry Baker, and he actually was the honorary guest at my wedding, but he wasn't there because he didn't even know I was getting married. He had moved after I graduated, and I couldn't find him. We didn't have social media. Since then, I actually hooked up with him about in the last year. And so he's still in East Texas, and but he made a life-changing decision on me one time. So back then, when you're an athlete and you do something stupid, or you smart off, or you act out, there was a consequence. It might not happen today, but I was mad about something in the dugout, and I kicked the trash can. And so when I kicked the trash can, I wasn't going to get to play the championship game. We were playing Texas High for the district championship. And so he was letting me play, but he wasn't letting me bat. And so we were tied 1-1 in the last inning. And if y'all didn't know, head coaches normally are on the third baseline when you're batting and they're coaching. And I walked up to him out of just nowhere, and I just said, "Coach Baker, give me a shot right now, and I promise you I won't let you down." And he goes, if you just knew him, he goes, "Dang it, go get a bat." And so I was so excited. I ran and got my bat. I went in the very first pitch, hit a home run. We won the district championship. And that day, even though it was emotional for me at the time, what happened afterwards when we're talking in the dugout was he broke down in tears. And I'll never forget it to the day I die, that he went out on a limb. He put everything on the line for me that day. And that's a leader. That's a leader who will go against all odds and give you the opportunity to succeed, and he did that. And so that was one of my good stories, and that's why I want to lead. And I hope all of you, when you come to work, come together for your team, because you have no idea what you can accomplish as your team, as a team. If you come as individuals, it's not going to work. Look at that team that went. They weren't individuals, but they didn't have their team together, and they got 10-run rule just after they had beat that team 1-0. And so Justin knows that in sports that kind of stuff happens, but I firmly believe that if we would have all been together, that outcome could have been different than what it was. And I encourage everyone to come to work every day as a team. If you see me faulting as a leader, come talk to me. Let me know, because I don't want to be a bad leader. I want to always give you the opportunity to succeed. Okay? And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you, guys. All right? All right.